So in the last video, we saw how we can use a random module that has some random functions. Now Python has a lot of modules. Another module that might be useful for you to use is the math module. So the math module is one that contains some methods, some functions that have to do with scientific notations. And so here there's like the link to the library. You can find other ones, but here if you want to like calculate sine, cosine, tangent, convert from degrees to radians, you can do that. And so what I did here in mu was I tried printing the sine and cosine. And one of the things also that the math module has is the value of pi. So it has like some constants that you can use, like pi, for example, or e. So here, what I was trying to do, I said, okay, what I want to do is I want to print the sine of math.pi, and I want to print the cosine of math.pi. So you can do that if you need to. The next thing that I want to show you is that sometimes you want to create your own modules. So we saw how we can use existing modules in Python, like random and math, but sometimes I want to create my own module. And the reason I would want to create my own module in real life is that sometimes you're working with team members on a project, and in real life you work with many, many people. If you become like a software developer, for example, you would work on a project with many other people. And it is very unrealistic for all of you to be working on the same file. At the same time, it's very unrealistic to have all the code in just one big file and have a file that's thousands and thousands and thousands of line long. So we said one of the advantages of functions is that we want to write modular code that's broken up into smaller chunks. So if you're working on a project with some team members, each person might be working in their own file. So you have person A working in a.py and b.py and c.py and student.py. So every person is working in their own Python file. And sometimes people provide functions, and you want to call those functions from within your file. So what I did here was I created a file called my module. I saved it in the same folder that my other file is in. So if I were to go to my computer, here I have working on right now, and I created the my module file. It really just defined two functions in it. And square num. Come to main and say, okay, now I want to call the print welcome in my module. So I put the module name dot function, just like we did with the math module or the random. We would put random dot and then rand int. So here I'm putting my module name, which I chose to be my module. Could have been test, could have been any name I want, and then the name of my function. Okay, so here I'm calling the print welcome, and I'm calling the square num. So print welcome should print welcome to Python, and square num is going to give me the number squared. So if I call square num with 9, I get 81. Now when I do this, it doesn't work. And this is something that is in mu, even though the files are in the same folder, mu doesn't see them. And so there's this hack that you would need to do in mu, and I put it in the slides. Basically, what you need to do is you need to import another module called sys. And you need to say, I want you to append to the path. I want you to append to the folder that the other file is in. So if test.py was in C users test my files, this is the full path of where it was living, you would append this to the path. And so you need to do this before attempting to import your module. Otherwise, the module is not going to be found. So here, it's trying to import my module, and it says I can't find it. And so I have to manually say, I want you to append to your path this folder where my file is. So this is where my file exists. See, it's that one. And what I did was I just basically came here and said copy address as text, and then I pasted it inside, and then I had to add like a double slash. Okay. So that's what I did to get that line. And now if I run the code, it is able to find that module. So this is a hack that you'll need to do for Mu to get it to work with modules. Now for the classwork for this part of the chapter, what I want you to do is I want you to create a module, and I want you to do this in Mu on your computer before you go and do anything on HackerRank, because you're going to have to submit two things on Blackboard. So the first thing is I want you to create a module called classwork for ToMyModule, and I want you to define this function in it, cube, which takes a number, and it calculates the surface area of a cube with that side and the volume. So the surface area formula is 6 times the side squared, and the volume is side cubed. Now, after you write this function in the module, what you're going to do is you're going to create another file called classwork42. So this one's 42, this is for ToMyModule. And you're going to write a main that's going to ask the user for how many sides the cube has. It's going to print out the surface area and the volume, because it's going to call the cube function in my module. And then this is going to be using your module. And then what I also want you to do is I want you to ask the user for an angle in degrees. And I want you to use the radians function in the math module to convert it to radians. And I want you to print the sine, cosine, and tan of that angle with 3 digits after the decimal. Now, when you test this in Mu, everything is going to work fine. Now, when you go to test it on HackerRank, HackerRank does not use modules. So what you're going to do is you're just going to copy that cube function from classwork4 ToMyModule and just paste it into classwork42 on HackerRank, like just the code. So on HackerRank, don't import sys, don't import module, classwork42, don't import that one, and just copy that function into HackerRank along with everything else. But I want you to actually submit this module working with this file. So I want you to submit 2.py files working together in Mu using that sys hack that I showed you. And then I want you also to show me the output from HackerRank. So you're going to submit 2 files here, and then the file that you used to test on HackerRank in addition to the output of HackerRank.